Welcome back to the Barbecue Mentor. Sorry hadn't been any videos posted in the past few weeks. Been doing a lot of overtime. But today we're going to smoke some pork spare ribs cut St. Louis style. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So let's get started. Okay, this is a pork spare rib. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than baby back ribs. There's also a lot more meat on pork spare ribs. Now, to trim this up, what you want to do, the first part, this here is called the skirt. You'll want to trim this off. If you don't, while you're smoking this, it'll burn up, get dry, and you won't be able to eat it. It'll be like chewing leather. So the best thing to do is just trim that off. Alright? And another thing I always do is I'll go down here about the last bone on the end. I'll trim it. I'll cut it, just cut it straight across. Get a good straight cut. You can keep this meat also and smoke it with the ribs. Or you can use it, put in beans. But you'll want to trim that off because it's so thin and it'll burn up also. Now, for cutting this St. Louis cut, what you do is you go down through here and you look for the longest bone, which is usually third, fourth bone down, and you'll want to make a straight cut, kind of straight with the other side of the ribs. Then just cut straight down the ribs. You're going to go through some cartilage, so you'll need a sharp knife to do this. Just make one straight cut. It's that simple. And this right here, good eating. So you can smoke this with the ribs. Cut it up. These are rib tips. You can cut this up in pieces like this. That's what they call rib tips. Very good eating. Now, what we have here is a slab of ribs, St. Louis cut. Alright, I'm going to take the membrane off. I highly suggest you do that. It allows the flavor from your rub to penetrate, get into the meat. If you can get under it with a kitchen knife, just your standard kitchen knife, get it pulled up enough to pull on it. Most of the time it'll come off in one piece, sometimes it don't, like this time. If you need to grip it with something, you can grip it with a piece of paper towel and just pull it off in one piece, just like it right there. Okay, and then you can look at it, go around and look at it. If you see any fat, excess fat that needs to be cut off, you can trim it. It won't hurt anything. It won't hurt a thing to leave it on there either. Some small pieces over here sticking out that's going to burn up. Just give it a good looking over. Any trimming needs to be done. Alright, this one is ready for the rub. So what I'm going to use is some mustard to use as a binder. You don't have to worry about tasting the mustard. Like I said, it's used strictly for a binder. Helps to hold the rub on. Just put a good light coat on it. And take and put a good generous coating of rub. Whatever rub you like to use. This is my homemade rub. I use on all pork. Get all the ends and sides. Flip it over and we'll do the other side. Same thing, just a little bit of mustard. Doesn't take a lot. And apply your rub. Good generous coat. Okay, this my friends is a St. Louis cut spare ribs ready to go on the smoker. I have a couple more racks I got to get trimmed up with the rub on it, and then we'll go out there and get the smoker fired up. Okay, we got the smoker up to temperature, up to about 225 to 240. That's where it's been running. I ended up having to wait overnight before I could do this, which is okay. Give that much more time for the ribs to soak up the flavoring from the rub. So we're going to let these smoke for about 3 hours, and then we'll wrap them for 2 hours. And then after the 2 hours of wrap, we'll unwrap them, put them back on the smoker, let them tighten up and sauce them. But for right now, they're looking good. We're going to let them sit here and smoke for the next 3 hours. Get back at you here in a little bit. Okay, we're about an hour and a half into the smoke. Smoking on the Old Country Wrangler today. I am burning hickory. I haven't done any ribs with hickory in a while. I usually use apple and pecan. But this time I decided to try a little hickory. Everything's looking good. I just spritz them with a little apple juice. They got another hour and a half of smoking before we wrap them. Alright, let's let them do their thing. Okay, the spare ribs have been on the smoker for 3 hours. Now it's time to wrap. All I'm going to do, take a piece of foil, and I'm going to lay down a bed of butter. Some brown sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar. Don't need a lot. I'm going to set the rib down, meat down, into the butter and the brown sugar. I'm going to wrap it tight. This will form a seal, and the butter will work as steam to tenderize the ribs. Do the same thing for the next one. Some brown sugar. Meat down. And I'm going to put a little honey on this one. Just a little extra sweetness. Like I said, seal it up real good. Now these will go back on the smoker, meat down, for 2 more hours. I'll check it about an hour and a half into the smoke for tenderness, in case they're getting tender quicker than they normally do. Then I can pull them off and not let them sit there. I don't want them to fall apart, but I want them tender. Alright, I'll get this other one wrapped up and put them back on the smoker, and they'll be on there for about 2 more hours. Okay, we're about an hour and 45 minutes into the smoke with them wrapped up. I'm going to check it and see if they're tender enough to pull out. Oh yeah, we got the meat pulling away from the bone pretty good. See if I can do this without getting burnt. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're ready to come out. So I'm going to get the foil off these and get them back on the smoker so they can tighten up. Be back in a few minutes. Okay, we got them out of the foil. I've got them sauced up. We're going to leave them here on the smoker and let them sit for about another hour. And we'll pull them off and be ready to eat. Okay, we got them off the smoker. They stayed on for 3 hours smoking. Wrapped for 2. Actually an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And then we left them on there for an hour. We sauced them. And now it's time to try them. Cut a piece off this end down here. Oh, looks good. We got smoke ring. Juice just pouring out of it. Let's try it. Awesome. Appreciate it if you comment on my video, like my video, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.